Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the BlueGhost and Friends podcast. Today, our special guest is none other than the man himself, First 30 Minutes. So we've got him on standby. Let's go ahead and give him a call. Hey,
Hey,
Carson, how are you?
good. What's up?
Oh, not much, man. How are things over in your neck of the woods?
They're good. I mean, yeah, they're fine.
That's good to
Not too
hear.
much going on.
Yeah.
What about yourself?
Oh, things are going okay. Actually, my fiance had surgery this morning. So I'm
Oh
hoping
my
that everything
gosh,
goes well.
was it expected or out of?
Um, it was to be expected, but they were having this trend of forced surgeries at the last second. Within the next 24 hours or the next few days. That whole
Gosh,
thing.
she okay? She okay?
Yeah, she's got gastroparesis. It's this disorder that paralyzes her digestive tract, and she has a gastric pacemaker to kind of help stimulate that. She also has a port that she gets her intravenous fluids from, but it's this one was for a feeding tube that would help her get her nutrients because she can't keep anything down, and it's it's a trying time. It really is, but I'm really hoping that it works out for her.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
can't imagine.
yeah,
That sounds rough.
it is very rough. And now going into this, I didn't really expect it, but duking it out, that's what I'm gonna do for her because I do love her and it's what she deserves.
Yeah,
But
no, you're right. I mean, sometimes things happen in life you're not expecting.
yeah, for
I think
sure.
it shows your true character,
Hmm.
come up against an obstacle.
Exactly. And I agree with that. It shows it's a true testament of character, and I don't think I could have put it any other way. Um, so let's move on to the show. Now, Carson, you are a well-known YouTuber, and how long have you been making videos? And not just LSPDFR or SWAT 4, just overall.
Okay, so I started my YouTube channel, I think it was the summer 2000. So I guess that was almost 8 years or so.
8 years. Oh wow. I I've been watching your channel since 2016, and that watching your channel was actually what got me into LSPDFR. So yeah, I hold you to a high standard right now. I
I've heard that a lot
yeah
about kind of just people were introduced through my videos or someone else's videos into LSPDFR. But I mean, that's always awesome to hear because I think it is a fantastic mod. And if you like police stuff, definitely enjoy it.
yeah, and I actually watched a few videos, and I thought to myself, I like this, but I don't have the proper computer for this. But you know, seeing how much fun it was, or how you were handling it, and how other people were handling it, I thought, okay, I'm just gonna do it. So I just had to shell out the money and get
Yeah.
get that get the right PC for it. But I wound up, oh, I can't remember what it was. It was a desktop before this laptop that I'm on. But I got a desktop. I got the whole rig, got everything set up, and it was just a blast, man. And I really enjoyed your videos because of your trademark, relaxed, laid back approach to it. Has that always been your thing, just relaxed?
Yes. If you go back to like the very first, going back to LCPDFR, like I was even monotone, and I've always been fairly really laid back in general. Like if you've ever watched a stream, or that's how I exactly am in real life.
Mm-hmm.
I know some people, they're really good at kind of putting on a show or a character for their videos, but like I don't know, I like to stay who, and
be yourself.
That's how I am in real life.
Yeah, some of these people that go over the top, and your approach is, I'm just gonna be me, and I commend you for that.
yeah, that's what I've always done. So, good or bad, that's
there's no bad to it.
It's really, it's just really how I am in life. So I try to, I guess, stay true to myself.
Mm-hmm. And that is definitely the best approach to have today, because you can, there's so many things out there that can put you in a bad mindset, and if you stick to, I'm gonna be me, I'm not gonna let anything get me down, you can pretty much tackle anything, and that's the best thing about it.
No, I 100% agree. It's just, I don't know. I've seen a lot of people, YouTube especially, they'll just kind of burn out after a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's partially because, it is, and it is entertaining to watch some people. They can just really put on a show and get you entrenched into their videos. However, I just don't think it's sustainable to do that every day for your own mental health, because eventually it's just going to get overwhelming to you. So that's my approach.
And I agree. It's, you got to put yourself first, and if you are committing to this character or this over-the-top stage theatric nonsense, you're going to burn yourself out, and in turn fans are going to see that, and it's going to have an adverse effect on them. And a laid-back attitude and approach to it, that's your safeguard right there.
Yeah. Are you more laid back type of person? How would you describe it?
I would say probably a good combination of both. I can be a little over the top, but right now, this is how I am. I tend not to over exaggerate or, flourish on things that don't really need to be, exaggerated on. And you can see that in a few of my videos, I'm not terribly, I'm going to use the word excitable, but it's one of those things, it's just going to wear me out after 5 minutes of being over the top.
I'm the same way. Like I wouldn't be able to keep it even just for a 20-minute video. It'd be, I guess, too much for my type of personality.
Yeah,
I don't know. It would just seem really fake to myself.
I know. I think that same way. It just seems fake.
Yeah. I think a lot of people, especially nowadays, viewers appreciate a more genuine character, and like you're not trying to pretend you're something you're not. So I think it comes through, especially
absolutely
nowadays, and it's more appreciated by. So I think it's a good trait.
Absolutely.
Now, if you're like real life, naturally that over the top person, then I mean that's fine. Be that person.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't try to be some.
And I agree with that. That if you if you don't be who you are, then it's just going to have this approach as disingenuous, and that's not really the vibe you want to give off.
Zach, I completely agree with that.
Okay, so let's move to our GTA 5 community news and LSPDFR. So there aren't any updates on the modification itself, but looking at the trending column over here, the number one file is called Force a Callout. Now, from what I'm reading, is it just like it was in 0.3, where they had the X button. You know that?
Yes. Yeah. Press X on the keyboard.
Mm-hmm. And
call out. Yep.
Users are just smacking their keyboards trying to get a call out to spawn, and they think that it's something wrong with them, but this script I think that will kind of alleviate some of the misgivings that people are having with this update, because I love 0.4, I really do, and some people just simply cannot get over a few things, be it the whole apartment situation. I don't know why anyone would think that would be bad, but
yeah, I've heard that as well.
Mm-hmm. I've seen I've been tinkering around with it, and on traffic stops, if there's slim chance that suspects run away, it doesn't automatically what did it do in 0.3, where it would play this audio cue, and the dispatcher would say suspect is fleeing or whatever, but in 0.4 it doesn't do that. It's up to you to kind of determine, are they running, are they not,
right?
And
yeah,
this is an excellent looking script. I haven't used it myself, I've been insanely busy, but all it requires is Rage plugin hook, LSPDFR, and simply you hit X, forces a callout. So simple scripts make the biggest differences.
Yeah, what I still use, particularly if you like to do LSPDFR videos, for anyone listening, a good one is Callout Manager. I think it still works. I mean, it works for me still. Mm-hmm. Where I have it set up, you hit F12 and you can pick a call out from the different packs. And from there, you just choose, if you're doing a particular video about, I don't know, gang violence or something, you can choose the right call out you would want for your video. I mean, it works pretty well, but if you want to just force a call out randomly, then that sounds like a good solution to that, because with the call out manager, you got to go into the menu, and it doesn't look like you're getting a random call out, obviously. Mm-hmm. Like I would have to cut that part of the video out where I'm choosing the call out, because nobody wants to see that.
Enter and the time you get the call out, that's a very split, very fun.
It's very fast.
Yes, that's what I was trying to get at.
So who created that force a call out? Who's the author?
It is by HazyTube. Currently at 19 comments, 5 reviews, and stands at 5 stars. So if you guys are looking at, if you have any misgivings with the whole call out situation on 0.4, definitely try force a call out, because this will probably make the biggest difference thus far. So
yeah, I don't recognize that author name. Yeah, I don't know if he's done other stuff.
I feel like I've seen him around. I don't know if he's got any vehicles, but looking at it, yeah, he's.
Yeah, I'm trying to look to what he's done.
Yeah, the mostly call outs, maybe some skins, but yeah, pretty reserved from what I'm seeing.
Yeah, some people I'll just recognize immediately by their name.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, he did. He did that first call out pack.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was when 0.4 just came out.
Oh yeah,
and he was like one of the first to use the new, what is it, the API or something,
the API
for 0.4. Yeah.
of it. I remember when Stop the Ped and all of what is that author's name? Benjojolo or
Yeah, I just call him BJ because I can't say his name. Benjojolo, yeah.
I remember when he removed his mods from the download section, and I'm part of the LSPDFR Facebook group, and people are freaking out. Why did he remove this? And the only logical explanation would be to say, hey, he's probably got early access to the API, so he doesn't want his fans to have this delay where they're floating between 0.3 and 0.4. And even though Stop the Ped did work with 0.4 on the 0.3 version, it was a little wonky.
Yeah.
I commend him.
Yeah,
forcing
I did a video
that gap.
Yeah, I did a video or two with when his mods weren't updated, and it was like there's a big difference between having his mods and not. I mean, it's still. I mean, you can still play LSPDFR just completely vanilla with no plugins, but I mean, the amount of plugins now, we kind of gotten used to that level of immersion, so it's a good thing. He was able to update it pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm. And it's crazy how some of these mods can seem like one-off scripts, but they wind up, being the mainstay of this game, like Albo mods.
I was gonna say Albo. Yeah, because Albo, like, I think one of his first mods was like just adding more drop-off for jails points, and then like it evolved into like so much more.
Oh, absolutely. And with him retiring and making his mods open source, I'm curious to see how people are going to take it and run with it, because they're good scripts already. So my thing is, I'm just wondering what people could add to make it better.
Yeah, we've seen BJ like add some of Albo's open source mods into his own with calling, I guess, tow trucks and having prisoner transport, stuff like that. So I'm sure we'll see more of that in the future.
Oh, for sure. And the community is good about that. They see something that's needs fixing, they'll jump right on it. There's hardly any delay.
Oh yeah. That's a good thing about the community, is like it is very on top of it, and if there's a strong desire for some type of modification, it seems like somebody will put forth the time and create it.
Absolutely. Now, let's move on to the Ghosts Grab Bag segment. Now, I did find one topic that I wanted to discuss, but I'm trying to find it again, and I can't seem to find it. But basically,
okay, I brought two topics.
Okay, cool. Let's see. Glossing over mine, it was a headline stating that in California, now that I'm thinking about it, it might have been a spoof article, but I kind of feel like an idiot for talking about it here. Basically, what it was is, in California, cops had to call their supervisor before unholstering their service weapon, and I just think that that's either the silliest thing or
that seems problematic.
Incredibly problematic, because they're saying before uh, after being faced with life-threatening situations, they need to contact their supervisor before, as an anti-measure against these police atrocities, is what they were saying. And
Was the aim.
yeah, I I can't really figure out what their whole angle was, but I wish I had a link because it was the most
I
ridiculous
mean,
thing I've read.
you think about it, like just the fact that you would have to, if you needed to use your weapon, you'd have to take the time to call over your radio or cell phone, however you contact your supervisor and get permission.
Yeah.
It seems like it put you in a bad position in some scenarios.
And of course, this headline did come from Facebook. I think it was from one of the YouTuber cops, like Mike the Cop or someone like that.
Okay. So was that going to be a specific department or the whole state?
I think it was California was what it was saying. But,
oh wow! So the entirety of California.
Yeah. And
wow.
I'll have to drop a link in the description because that's.
Yeah, I want to look at that article.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, it's from Blue News Network. It looks legit, but I'll have to drop it down below and we'll pick it up from there. But let's move on to your topic. What do you have for me?
Okay. So the first one, mine two are more about just kind of police video games and LSPDFR, but my first one is, and I've talked about this before on my own videos, but just kind of, so my channel, as you know, focuses on police video games.
Right.
And I've noticed there's been a real lack of quality kind of police video games, first responder games. I guess the topic is, have you noticed something similar? And if you agree with me, why do you think that is the case?
I have seen that there's a lack of, dedication and quality in those specific genre of games because people are more interested in the fast-paced, the criminal aspect of it, but there's the police games and first responder games that are on Steam or anywhere else. They aren't exactly AAA titles, and they're being run by small crews of people, and they can't quite put the time and the money into it like a AAA publisher can, and the lack of quality shows, and it shows across the board. But with games like Emerge, I'm probably saying this, Emerge NYC, it's
I think that's how you say it.
Yeah, and looking at that, where it is a solid looking game, it really is. It looks like it's built well, but or that Flashing Lights, where it's, how many people make that game? Like one?
Yeah, it's very small. Yeah. Maybe one primarily, and then like some help from additional people as needed.
You see that's the work that one person can do, and it's astounding, really. And as they accumulate these fan bases and everything like that, that's where they start to pick up the slack where the original publishers can. And that's why I like the LSPDFR and GTA 5 modding community, is they put in their free time and their money to release work to the rest of the community to enhance their experience. And that's the reason that I enjoy doing it, even though I'm spending some of my free time, a few hours out of my day. It's, in the end, I make friends, I forge new connections, I'm talking to famous YouTubers such as yourself as a result. But bottom line is, I do agree that there is a disconnect in the amount of first responder and emergency games and quality that ensues behind it. But I hope that over time that a AAA studio. Oh, I do remember Battlefield. What was that Battlefield game?
Oh, Hardline.
Yeah, Hardline. I loved Hardline, and that's what a AAA studio can do if they actually took that idea and ran with it, instead of tossing the idea to the den of scripters and developers saying, "Hey, do what you want with this."
Yeah, I think there is significant demand for one, but you're right. No AAA developer has really picked up the idea and ran for it. And I don't know if they're worried it won't sell well, or I'm sure there are legitimate reasons, because you would think by this point somebody would have tried to do something, but
Absolutely. Yeah.
But we've seen, even with the whole release of the Ready or Not trailers and the pre-orders and stuff, we've seen them. I mean, for I think they're $120 for alpha access was $120, and they sold. I already know they sold over 1,000 pre-orders for that.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
ridiculous.
And that's a relatively small team from what I understand. And that falls more into the tactical shooter type games. So there's some overlap with first person shooters, but I think it does show there's demand for these kind of more hardcore police games or a police simulator type game.
Yeah, I'm totally with you there. Now, for my second topic, I was really wrapped up in that whole supervisor before discharging, but thinking of one off the top of my head, well, that one's going to be a hard one. Let's roll with your second one, and we'll come back to me.
Okay. So this one is kind of related to the LSPDFR community, and it extends a little further out into just the general GTA 5 modding scene. But I've heard good arguments on both sides of the table for this topic. So I want it, as yourself being a modder, I guess you can call that. I wanted to get your take on what you think about this. So the topic is mods that are behind a paywall, whether it be a monthly fee or you have to join some type of program to get access to these mods. What do you think about that? And we can go from there.
Sure. Now, I do have my own version of, lack of better way of putting it, a paywall. Now it's this exclusivity that people are shooting for, because you get these fans that enjoy your work specifically, and it's more like a capitalist venture. But for me, it's the time I spend doing it, the time I spend enjoying it, and it pays for more than just my time. It pays for the programs, it pays for the models, it pays for just about everything in that sense. And it's not just the whole give me money and I'll give you this. It's everything that follows. You spend the time, you learn things, and I don't necessarily disagree with the whole paywall idea, but what I do disagree with is people outright selling, models that aren't supposed to be sold. And there's a whole disconnect going on right now with developers and staff between the various boards of GTA 5 file hosting sites, and people are ripping work. They're using these complicated programs to unlock. In the modding scene, we lock our models to prevent them from being altered. And people have these super complicated programs that can just rip it off like a band-aid, so they can mess with it how they please. And there's mass hysteria going on in that scene right now. Now, me personally, I haven't stepped on anybody's toes thus far, so I don't think anyone would necessarily rip my work, but now that I'm talking about it, they probably will. But my luck. The idea of the paywall, it's just normal. It comes with the territory, and you know, it gives me the opportunity to see what I can do basically with freelance work, because with people having 5M servers, they want custom vehicles. They really want that specific set of vehicles that nobody else can offer. And having the opportunity to do that for them, even though it would be a paid venture, it's talking to those people, it's seeing your vehicles being used, it's that sense of fulfillment that makes it, kind of balances out the paywall for me, you know.
Right, so they would come to you and request particular vehicles,
right? And
then
you know, I tell them, let me know specifically what you want. I'll make what I can work, and 99% of the time it works.
Right. So I mean, that's still a little different than what I've seen. I think I'm fine if you have a customer that comes to you and they're custom ordering something, like a vehicle or something. I'm fine with that. I don't have an issue with that. I think, right. And like I said, I understand both sides of the argument. Obviously, modders are putting in time and they're really not getting compensated because everything's for free. But I've seen modders more like for scripts and stuff. They'll create a script and then they'll be like, oh, you have to pay to use it. Oh, yeah. Or I've seen even some, I won't name any specific names, but they're like, if you want to use this particular script, you have to give me like a revenue percentage from that video that it's in as a way of compensation, which I don't know, it feels kind of like you're trying to extort money that way. It's like, and see, what you're doing is you're taking orders, like you're creating a custom product, but this is just a script or whatever it might be, and they're like, okay, now you have to pay to use it. And I've seen it too outside of LSPDFR with there's a guy like on GTA 5 mods who he'll make like Spider-Man scripts and like from different movies, and then you have to pay to use them. Or and then on top of that, some of them are like you have to pay a monthly fee to continue to have access to it.
Yeah, and it's those people that, you know, I'm going to put it like this, you know, they've got a leash on it, and like you're trying to reach for it, but saying, hey, I'll let you have this if you give me this amount of money every month for the rest of your life. And
right,
that's, I don't like that. I don't, you know, for me, one time, you know, donation you've got access to my early releases.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, is, you know, I'll occasionally, not a ton of money, but I'll, you know, do like a one-off donation to a modder scripter who I think does really good work, and I use their stuff a lot and just kind of show appreciation. and which I think is fine. I'm not saying I don't think they don't deserve to be compensated, because some of the work they put in is just really top level stuff, and without being able to use those mods, it'd be a whole different experience for playing LSPDFR. But I don't know. To me, some people just seem like they're just trying to extort maximum money for a particular thing, and it just, I don't know. To me, it comes off a little greedy. But
Exactly.
part of the reason I brought it up, and I think this goes back to what you were talking about with people ripping stuff off and trying to sell it as their own work. I don't know if you have noticed this, but when you download stuff now, there's a disclaimer this is on lcpdfr.com, but I'm trying to pull one up so I can read it to you. But there's a little disclaimer at the top that will say something to the effect of something about paying for mods or something, like the community doesn't approve of that or something, or because I think their reasoning is people have been ripped off.
Yes,
they're using LSPDFR as like a marketplace, and then they just scam people. They send money to them and they never get anything in return. So I think that's more what the warning is for.
Right.
Just not to be taken advantage of by somebody who's just trying to scam other people.
Yeah, and I have met my fair share of these individuals, and it's sad. It really is, because it besmirches the whole idea that you're spending this time and money on other people, and people want to, return the favor, and you're just going to stiff them like that. And it's really frustrating that this happens, but there's nothing that we can do about it except...
Yeah, I think it happens probably in every big community. Somebody's trying to take advantage of other people and get them to pay for something that doesn't exist, or pay for something that they stole, which is both are terrible.
Yeah. And there's this network of people, be it connected, good or bad, where someone slips up, someone, like, the rest of the community knows it. There's just no escaping that, and that's probably the only upside in this whole scenario, where if you ordered a car from me and I just completely stiffed you on that, you'll
get called out.
Yeah, you can. Well, you have a platform for that, but
true.
There is this network that you can have at the touch of your fingers, and people know whether you did something good or bad. But it's a whole thing. It's tip of the iceberg right now.
Yeah, I've been told to avoid certain people who are, and they'll tell me a name or someone to avoid that has been known to steal other people's work and kind of repackage it as their own, which obviously I'm not in support of, because that is in every sense of the word stealing.
Exactly.
From somebody else.
And it's sad, because theft is reaching new heights. Like you were saying, every sense of the word, it's stealing.
Yeah, it really is.
It's just...
I think people think they try to justify it since it's not a physical item, but it's still somebody's work and time that went into creating whatever it is they stole.
Yeah, and the lines are still kind of blurred between the physical and the digital, but I'm sure the time will come where proper measures can be taken to prevent things like that from happening, and I'm just waiting for that day,
Yep, I agree. It'll probably be here sooner than later.
Yeah, but with the way things are going right now, I wouldn't be surprised if it was sooner.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, Carson, I appreciate you taking the time to speak to little humble old me. But I enjoyed our conversation.
Thanks for having me on. Yeah. It's always good to chat about stuff and the state of the community. So it was fun.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you for coming on. I hope to have you back, and I hope we'll speak again.
Absolutely.
Take care.
You as well.